Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hola, ¿cómo está, señorita? Strong cigar. Got about 10 minutes before we start, so get you something to drink. Good evening, good evening. What's up, what's up? Get you something to drink. Grab your cigar, grab your blunt, grab your food. So we got about 10 minutes before we start. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good evening, good evening. Woo! Cigar got kick. It's a cigar kind of day for me. It's just one of them days. But like I said, we got 8 minutes to get fresh to be on. Wanted to make a correction somewhere here. Again, the live is saying zero. So I can't tell who's here and who's not. So please forgive me. I only will know if you respond. Tonight is one of them cigars kind of night. Alikwa Ilolo. Aibobo. It's one of those nights. Sure, we got about 7 minutes now. 6 minutes, rather. So grab whatever you need. Good evening to everyone. How's everybody doing? If there's a way for you to respond, you see if it helps if I actually say something. Hold on. Few more minutes. Cigar kind of day. Gonna wait till 7:30 on the dot. Hey sis, how you doing? Tonight is sponsored by the Operating Spirit with the Most High being in charge, with my ancestors by my side. Let's see. Okay, we got 4 minutes. Hope everybody grab their blunt, their cigar, cigarettes, their drink, their food. Just in a few, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Did you take anything for sis? Did you take anything for sis? No, you most likely had a long day. hmm 3 more minutes. I'm just testing the quality right quick. Hold on. Before I forget, you gotta take something for sis. Or else you're gonna be upset. Or else you're gonna be upset. Truly, truly upset. Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's happening? What's happening? I got about 2 more minutes and then we gonna get started. Get your drink, get your food. Close in 2 minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I know I've been kind of slack on lives. I've been literally taking time out with my ancestors, literally taking care of some things, and that is the reason why I have not been live. And due to cops and everything else, I understand. I understand. But then you gotta try to tolerate the pain, you know what I mean? Because I completely understand. I most definitely do. All right, we got 1 minute or 30 seconds. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. But good evening, good evening, good evening. And let me say this again. You would have to speak in order for me to know you are here. I don't know the number because it's not showing. It isn't telling me who all is here. I only know about what happens in the comments. Yep, it is now 7:30. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm gonna say in the beginning, I'm thankful to everybody for coming in. I appreciate you for coming in and listen. I'm humbled. I'm honored through the spirits, through the ancestors, through the Most High God. I appreciate everybody for coming in and allowing the spirits to speak through me. So I am truly grateful for that. But tonight is going to be a freestyle in healing because, like I said, I came to get mine. One of the things that I will say, um, I know for the Guyton family, y'all haven't seen me in some umpteen years. If I didn't know any better, I would say about 15 or 20 years. You have not seen me. One of the things that I'm going to clear up in the beginning, I am not a Christian. I use the Bible to give illustrations and things like that because I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, but I am not a Christian. So please stop inviting me to Christian groups. Please, please stop. Because I'm not going to come and be a part. It isn't that I don't believe that people are not living the life they say. Whatever that you believe, be powered by it. Be empowered by it and walk in it by faith and not by sight, but also by intent and make room for it. And I will say this. I will say this. I have no problem with anybody in their belief. But I happen to believe because I've died 3 times that there is more than one. And there are more than one spirit. Even in the Bible, it tells you about your ancestors, who begot who. It also tells you where Jesus literally seen Moses and spoke with them, and Moses and Elijah was dead way before time. But I will say this, like I said, I can't get mad. Okay, okay. Okay, can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? Okay. But there are a few things I'm going to expose, a few things I'm going to reveal. Uh, Hopefully, you get what you need. What don't apply, let it fly. Don't take it. Can't use it, lose it. It's just as simple as and the reason why I say that, y'all forgive me, I have allergies. Oh Lord. And the reason why I say that is because most of the time when people come and they listen, some people get offended by okay. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. And y'all, I don't have a filter. So this would be the spirits doing this because I don't have a filter up here at all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sis. Appreciate that. I don't have a filter up here. So what you are seeing is what you are seeing. Now, this live is dedicated to a particular spirit. I won't say any names, but Bilolo, it is dedicated to a particular spirit on tonight. Good evening, my brother. Good evening. But literally, one of the things that I will say is this: there will be a lot of things exposed tonight. There will be a lot of things talked about tonight. Hopefully, it helps someone. But like I said, if it don't fit you, don't let it hit you. Let it fly. Don't put the shoe on if you don't wear it. Many blessings, my brother. Many blessings. Because if it don't fit you, don't do it. But one of the things I had come to do, even in a time where we can get our blessings, get our abundance, We have been working on ourselves. We have been doing the work. And you like online? Okay. Okay. My apologies, y'all. Had to move. Hold on just a second. Had to move into a different room. But literally, oh, no problem. What's up, bro? No problem. Give me 1 second, because it's going to get dark. I'll flip that on. But literally, this is going to be one of those. Get it, you get it. Don't. I'll be more than happy to explain. But like I said, we have been working on ourselves. We have been doing what the spirits say. We have been literally getting our whole life together. We have been literally working on us. And as I can see, do anybody else see that green that's on the screen? That rainbow? We have been literally working on ourselves. We have been literally trying to find out which way we should go, what's the destination, what we should be doing, what we can be doing. Literally. All right. Aibobo. 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 Literally. Bilolo. Bilolo. And as far as I know, I don't have anything that's that color green. Um, hold on. Yeah, no, that's literally the spirits. I don't have anything that color. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, my shirt is not red. My shirt is red. So yeah, yeah. All I'm gonna say is I Ibobo Bilolo. That's all I'm gonna say to that because they have a tendency to show up like that. But literally, because I I got on all red, so I know that that's not me. I know for a fact that's not me, and that's not the glasses at all. But tonight, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my life. Pray that you can relate to it. Ah, Aibobo, Aibobo. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, this particular night was it's sponsored by a particular spirit, not lit. Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this: it's sponsored by a particular spirit. I'm just gonna say, Bilolo Aibobo, and I'm gonna say it like this. Hopefully, you get what you need out of tonight. And literally, I'm gonna say this: any wisdom that you get, we should be preparing for holidays, preparing for different things. But yeah, like watch this, watch this. Okay, hold on. Where'd it go? Ready to go? Still there. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not me. Yeah, that's definitely not me. Yep. Yeah, that's really not me. There's really nothing in this room. Actually, there's nothing in here that's rainbow. Actually, I stood up. It went up a little bit, then it came down. Yeah, yeah, that's literally the spirits. But I'm gonna say this: literally, we should be preparing to move into our blessings. But they always pulling up. They always pulling up. But literally, good evening to the other person that came in. Good evening, good evening. But literally tonight, what's amazing to me, what's amazing to me, like I said, we should be preparing for our healings, our blessings. Oh, welcome back, Tay. Welcome back, bro. We should literally be preparing for the next what do we have? We have 5 months left. Yeah, we should be preparing and laying down work for our blessings and for our manifestations. Because if you truly did your work in this year, you truly worked on you, you truly learned from your mistakes, you truly allowed the spirits to cut off what they wanted to cut off, then this should be an easy process of preparing yourself for your blessings, getting in line to receive your blessings. And one of the things about having abundance, it keeps pausing on my side and couldn't see comments. I apologize. Oh, I understand. I understand. At first, it was my internet service going in and out. So now that I've moved closer, it's clearer. It's literally clear on my end. Tay, let me know if it's clear on your end, bro. Let me know if it's clear on your end now. And is anybody else still experiencing pauses in the live? Because if you are, I may have to start this one over and do it again, especially if it's in the pause. Anybody else having those problems? Could I may be experiencing a delay in comments? But this year, it's clear now. But oh, okay. Thank you, my brother. It's clear now, but in order to see comments, it makes you small. I believe it. I believe it. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. Okay, okay. But literally, good evening, good evening. Literally, we should have done some of the things that can help us and elevate us into our blessings, into our abundance, into the flow of the spirit, opening up our gifts. There's a lot that should be happening. I'm honored. There's a lot. I just got done washing up in my. Oh, okay. Okay. I knew. But literally, we should be at a place to where we can hear the Spirit, because I know at this time is crucial. It's crucial to move by the Spirit. It's crucial to move by the power of the spirits and the Most High, your ancestors, the Loa, Orishas, uh, the left hand path. It's crucial. It's crucial because no matter what path you're on, it is crucial that we start getting for our blessings and go through anything. I'm not saying that, but if anything, I would be working on my chakras. Okay. Okay. Had to move it. And that rainbow is still there. But this is a time where we should be moving into our blessings, moving into the things that the Spirit has for us. I know for myself, I've been doing a lot of cleansings and getting things together. What's up, bro? Good evening, good evening. Tosh Grippin in the house. I've been doing a lot of cleansings, doing a lot of preparing, doing a lot of getting myself in gear, letting go of things that I needed to let go, passing by things that I needed to pass by, paying attention to things that I needed to pay attention to. But literally in all of it, even with the residue of stuff still going on, like let me just give an example. Have you have you ever went through something and you said, not already been through this, and you're wondering why is it still there? And you're saying, look, I've already been through this. You told me I passed for flying colors. I didn't change my attitude. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything wrong. But all of a sudden, good evening, this is happening again. And you're like, why is it repeating? Why is it happening again? Number one, a lot of times we forget to get rid of the residue. We forget to get rid of the standing energy. And when you don't get rid of the stagnant energy, most of the time it's either you need a spiritual bath or you got to do a deep cleansing. Sometimes clothes and different stuff, different jewelry and clothes and things have attached energy to it. So sometimes you have to get rid of those things in order to get rid of the standing energy. Because even though you spoke to yourself and literally said that, you've changed your energy, you followed the law of attraction, and you literally are getting rid of a lot of times the reason why you have residue standing energy is because the failure to cleanse it out. Some things you have to get rid of. Like I said, old keys don't open new doors. Old keys don't open new doors. You literally, old things don't open new things. It don't open new doors. It don't open new blessings. And a lot of times in our frame of mind and stagnant energy, we have to let go. I know for myself within this year, I literally had to not only let go of the lack of, saying, this is it for me, this is good, but I also had to let go of the way that I view things and how I perceive things in the spirit. And what I mean by that, my point of view, how that I feel that the spirit should come to me, I had to let that go because they can come any way that they please. A lot of times, what we have to do is have an open mind, and not only have an open mind, but understanding what stagnant energy is. It is leftover energy. Even though that person, place, or thing has moved on, if you don't get rid of that energy, that energy will bring back around the same thoughts, bring back around the same process, bring back around the same thing, and make you question, why can't I do this anymore? Why can't I do that anymore? Like in my case, well, why can't I have a beer? Why can't I drink a beer? I usually drink one on my lives. Had to let that go because new levels, especially when the spirits want to take you higher. There are things that you cannot do when you are getting ready to go higher in the spirit. Because the truth of the matter is, the more successful, the more prosperous that they want to take you, the more they're going to tell you to let go. The more they're going to tell you to relieve that, to let it go. That's no longer good for you. That will not help you. That will hinder your health. That will hinder your soul. That will hinder your mental health. So certain things you have to let go. I know for myself in this year, there's a lot of things, and like I said, I think in one of my posts, in all the things that I know, I determined I know nothing. The reason why I determined that I know nothing is because there is always something new that the Spirit is going to tell you. There's always the ability to learn, the space to learn every day. There's always the ability to understand. One of the other things is we have to get out of this frame of mind of religiosity. Let me explain. The word religion actually means to repeat a routine over and over again. It has nothing to do with a belief. It has nothing to do with a person, place, or thing. It has to do what you have adapted as routine that you choose to force on someone else. Just like when this country first got started. When Columbus and them came over and lied like they discovered when there was already black people, there was already indigenous people here, such as the Moors. There were so many other tribes like Choctaw, Blackfoot, so many other tribes that were here already. So many different sets of people that was here already. But what they did was came and forced a belief because they had a routine system that they followed and they forced to believe. And a lot of times, what we do, we get caught up in the belief in the system of a thing rather than the spirit of a thing. Yep, 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 yep. Because a lot of times, what people do is have routine. Yep, sis, we were just talking about this. But a lot of times what people do is have a system and they'll go by it. I don't, like I said in the beginning, I don't have any problem with anybody else's beliefs. I don't have a problem with the way you do things and the way that you move by the spirit. But have an open mind. Because you don't want to, like I said, at 5 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I was trying to get what they gave me out. And I was trying to go to bed. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why I was live at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I literally could not hold that. One of the things that Peter and Paul got themselves into, the two apostles, the story behind that, they were arguing over the Jews and the Gentiles. Who could have the Holy Ghost and who couldn't? Who could have the Spirit of God and who couldn't? We have to get out of the judgment zone of people, ourselves, first of all, ourselves. Because the way you judge yourself is the way you judge others. Yes, even in spirituality. Exactly. Exactly, bro. Exactly, Tay. Because literally, when you make something a habit and you lock out the spirit, you lock out the presence of God. You lock out the Loa. You lock out your ancestors. You lock out the Orishas. You lock out your left-hand path, your right-hand path, and whatever that you follow. if you literally lock them out and you're just caught up in the tradition of a thing, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with respecting the history. There's nothing wrong with that, to know where you came from. But please do not get stuck in one way of doing things. Because Peter and Paul, when they got stuck, like so many people of today, Peter and Paul got stuck arguing about who could have and who couldn't. So, like I said, when those two apostles got the argument, they left the argument where it was and they went their way. And when they left the argument where it was and they went their way, Peter that night he went to sleep. And in the dream, God came in. He said, listen, get up and slay and eat. Peter saw catfish. Peter saw basically a pig and all of that. He saw everything that God had forbidden them to eat. And he told God, he said, listen, I'm not going to slay and eat. Now, I can imagine from Peter's point of view, he said, oh, this is a demon. This is a demon. And literally, God said, nope, not a demon. Get up and slay and eat. He laid back down because Peter said, nope, that's not God. God came again. He woke up. Peter looked around the room like, listen, Linda. That's the devil. The devil is a lie. He literally said that. Went back to sleep. God came right back and said, let me say this one more time. Showed him again. Slay and eat. Peter said, that is not the Lord. I rebuke you. God said, who are you talking to? And when he noticed that the voice didn't go anywhere, that it still spoke, slay and eat, Peter woke up a second time. Peter went back to sleep. God said, slay and eat. Peter said, God said, who are you talking to? And then he had a reveal of the voice that was speaking to him. He said, and when I tell you, God said, when I tell you to go eat, you go eat. You don't tell nobody who can have my spirit and who can't. That's my job. I'm the author and the finisher. I'm the beginning and the end. I'm the Alpha and Omega, not you. Now get up and go over there and eat. Peter shut up, went over there and ate. When he woke up that morning, he had a whole new understanding on how to have an open mind. But a lot of times, so many people spend their time doing God's service, not realizing that God didn't call you to that service. And I'll explain what I mean. If he wanted you to be the judge, he would have made you a judge. He wanted you to be the judge, he would have made you the judge and the author and the finisher of somebody's life. Let's not get our jobs confused. Our job is to inspire, not dictate. Our job is to give whatever the Spirit is saying to us, not lock out the Spirit. We don't get paid for that. We really don't. We don't get paid. Not at all. And I'll explain what I mean when I say we don't get paid for that. It's easier to be on autopilot than to sit back and allow so hard. Good evening, Mr. J. Alexander. Good evening, fam. I'm not going to say be on autopilot because you want to be open in the spirit and you want to be alive. When you're on autopilot, you will miss certain instructions being on autopilot like that. You don't want to really do that on autopilot like that. You want to be at a place where you're sensitive to the spirit, meaning that you're in a place where you're listening. You're in a place that you're willing to hear. You're willing to follow the direction. If they speak in the wind, you're listening to the wind. If they speak through a 5-year-old, you're willing to hear through a 5-year-old child. If they speak within your spirit, or they drop something in your spirit, or they bring something to mind, you're able to hear that. You don't want to be on autopilot because you'll miss some of the ways that the spirit will really want to come to you and build that relationship. So you don't necessarily want to be on autopilot, but I get what you're saying because yeah, you want to be autopilot to BS, to negativity. You do. You want to be on autopilot to that. So in a way, it's effective. But when it gets to the spirits, make sure you don't tune them out to where you only heard what they said, but you didn't hear the instructions on how to do it. So it's like you say about having yourself on mute. Yes, yes. Don't have yourself on mute. But have yourself on mute to BS though. Seriously, have yourself on mute to BS. Because this is my thing. If it's not gonna build you up, if it's not positive criticism, constructive criticism, to where it's gonna help you get to where you need to be in the spirit, whether it's with your ancestors, like I said, it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you put your faith in. It doesn't matter what you believe. It just matters that you are willing to listen and you are willing to follow. Because like I said in the beginning, yeah, no, I'm not a Christian. No. But I am willing to hear God. If he says his name is Yahweh that day, then it's Yahweh that day. If he says his name is El Elyon that day, his name is El Elyon that day. If he says he's El Shaddai, then hey, he El Shaddai. Whatever that he says, that's the directions that I'm following. That's the instructions that I'm going to follow. Be willing to hear. Be willing to follow. Be willing to listen more than complain. Be willing to hear, because you never know your blessing. Even though in the Bible it says he'll do a new thing. Like I said, old keys don't unlock new doors. Meaning that at some point you have got to realize what you were told to do then may not be what you need now in the spirit. Say, for instance, they would, just for an example, they would tell you to go around to the store every day. Just for an example, they would tell you to go around to the store every day, and say this corner store, you got blessings there. People begin to do things. But what happens when God tells you to relocate? What happens when the Spirit tells you go here, go there? No, don't go there today. Go over here today. And it's out of your comfort zone. See, a lot of us got to get a healing to that, trying to tell God or trying to tell the spirits where you're comfortable at, trying to tell your ancestors where you're comfortable at. We have to get out of that mentality. We have to get to a place where we trust them to do what they said they was going to do what they said they were going to perform. To bring that thing to pass, we have to step out of our comfort zone. Because what happens when your blessing is on the other side of on the other side of that unknown? You don't want to be like the children of Israel, stuck walking around a mountain 40 days and 40 nights because you refuse to listen. Good evening, good evening. Because you refuse to listen, or you refuse to go the way that they want you to go, because he didn't do it this way. Well, why didn't he do it here? Why do I have to be here? I'll use myself for an example. San Antonio, it's a great place. Can't stay here. Got to move somewhere else. Had to understand that. Had to grasp that. Good evening, good evening. What it do? What it do? Hello. Because the truth of the matter is, and let's be real. What do you do when the oasis for that place dried up? What do you do? Because at some point you have got to be willing to go wherever the Spirit wants you to go, even if it's the unknown. Because see, I'm going to tell you something. The Spirit will make you uncomfortable just to make you comfortable. The Spirit will ruffle your feathers just to unruffle them. Meaning that they will have you step out into the unknown where you are nervous, where you don't even know how this is going to work, how that's going to work, how that's going to play. I mean, think about it. The children of Israel. It was in the middle of the desert. They had $3 million apiece. Okay? $3 million a piece. Even the kids had $3 million. Everybody was a millionaire. But they were in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the unknown. And some of us forget to trust the process because we're in the middle of the unknown and we're forgetting that he's doing a work in us. Prime example, like I said earlier, my family hasn't seen me in umpteen years. Recently, I've heard that some of them call themselves speaking on me. They know this, they know that. No, sweetie, you don't know me. You don't know me. And let me tell you why you don't know me. If you have not seen a person in umpteen years, I promise you, you don't know them because things have changed. Things move differently. And I'll explain what I mean. Where you may be used to me cussing to the wazoo. You may be used to me cussing people out left and right. But then all of a sudden, growth happens. Not cussing every 5 minutes. Not going off every 5 minutes. Temper ain't flaring off every 5 minutes. Not doing the same things that I was doing. But when you talk to me, it's a difference. It's an enlightening conversation. Use for an example, there was a couple. I remember seeing this on the first 48. Never forget that. I used to watch my crime shows back then. But when they showed this one couple had been together 15 years. 15 whole years. In that 15 years, the man managed to bring her gifts, like he was bringing rings, he was bringing this, bringing that. Attitude never changed. Not one time did he show his temper, not one time did he do anything. You know that woman didn't find out he was a serial killer until the cops showed up, and she still didn't believe the cops when they showed up. They had to literally dig up the bodies that was in the basement. They had been around each other 15 years. So when the Bible says, know them that you labor among, this is another reason why you have to watch in the spirit. Man judges the outer appearance, but God judges the heart. Any spirit will tell you the heart of a thing if you listen. If you listen, you will find out the source, the heart, what's in the center of that being, if you listen. Because a lot of us don't know we get in people's chambers of the heart and we're not getting the center of their heart. We think that we know, and we don't know. Because the center of that man's heart was a serial killer. He was killing young women, literally in their basement. And you know what the wife said? After 15 years, she said, I thought I knew him. We were high school sweethearts. I thought I knew him. I wouldn't have never thought that that's what he was doing. My second husband is like that. Did everything for until the FBI showed up at our house. I believe it. I believe it. Because you never know a person. Lauryn Hill said it best too. She said, let me reintroduce you to myself. For a lot of my family, had no idea, practitioner. Had no idea that Fannie Mae Guyton was over there teaching me. Yeah, Grandma was teaching. Grandma was teaching. About them herbs and everything. But you would never know that if you never sat down and had that conversation. If you never sat down and let God show you. Just an example. In my family, when they found out that I was in a gang, I was 18 years old when they found out I was the leader of a gang. In spite of me running away from home, in spite of everything. Nobody knew it. Not until I turned 18 and I sat down that night and I literally said, we was playing a game of truth. Not truth or dare, just truth. Ask as many questions as you could stand And then when you couldn't stand the truth no more, you tapped out. Didn't find out until I was 18 that I wasn't a member, I was the leader. And I remember saying to them that night, there's a difference between being the member of something and being the leader of something. But you'll never know who they're following because they will carry your spirit. Not saying there'll be many means and this and that, but they'll literally carry that impartation by the spirit. But nobody knew. Not in my family, they did. I wish a guy would come on here. They can bear witness to this. Because literally nobody had any idea. Not until I turned 18. Because I had determined in my mind at the age of 12 that I was going to build my own family. But in that process, y'all, I needed to heal. Like I said, I came to get my healing. I needed to heal because I was angry. Because I was the black sheep. I was the outcast. I was the one that was always told you don't know what you're talking about. I was the one to get rebuked in church every Sunday. Never failed every damn Sunday. Just getting rebuked. I don't know if my sister's still on here or not, Janice Hampton, or I don't know if my nephew is still on here, but Janice Hampton was one of those that experienced that. She watched them call me out every Sunday and go off on me. Before then, no matter what church I was at, I was called Lucifer. The sermon was always on me. Until the day there was a reveal that the reason why those kids were successful, the reason why those kids joined the armed forces, the reason why those kids was leaving their little small ass town was because I was telling them to get in their books. And I ended up having to get on to grown people about their kids. Now, y'all, this is coming from somebody who didn't have children. Had miscarriages because of rape, but it didn't have children. No biological children. So when they found out what was really being said, you should have seen the shock of a small town who was putting down a kid that they never knew was telling their kids to pick up a book, was telling their kids to make straight A's, do something with your life. Never knew. All they saw was the alcohol, the weed, and in my day we didn't shoot. We fought and we went home. When somebody finally brought a gun to the gunfight, that's when the fight changed. I'm pretty much telling my age. Because, see, I was before Google. I don't know how many Gen X is in here, but I was before Google. I was before they got Google, when you had to walk by faith and not by sight. You get told something by the Spirit. Our awakenings went a little bit different. It went like that one video I put up there. It went just like that. A real awakening, a real dark night of the soul went just like that. You were trying to hang on and thought you was hanging on to your sanity. And you found out later, no, you was not. When you got stripped in the spirit and you woke up to an awakening, honey, yes, you thought you was batshit crazy. You did. Because literally a real awakening, which is the difference between today's time and yesterday's time. Because today's time, you got help with your awakening now. People are talking about it more. People are doing it more. But back then, even with our ancestors, they couldn't talk about it. They had an awakening. You talked about that in private. You found that one friend and said, you know, sister, I want to share this with you. Brother, I want to share this with you. but you couldn't openly speak about it. Because back then it was predominantly one religion. And everybody thought you should find a church, you should find this, you should find that. But what happens when you start to see things differently? You start to hear things differently. And I'm explaining this because what happens when your gifts open up and you don't have a name for it? See, nowadays, let me tell you the blessing, you have a name for what that's called. You either have premonition to see the future or prophecy, or you have what they call future readings, where you are able to see the future and it's okay for you to see it. Back then, if you seen it, you was considered crazy. Unless you was the ordained prophet that was in church. Because back then, that's the only initiation that people talked about. And when we was younger, you was pulled off to the side, talk things in secret and you couldn't talk about it. That's if you caught on to what was being said. Because if you didn't catch it, they didn't tell you. See, my Gen Xers know what I'm talking about. But this new generation, let me say this to Generation Z, to the let's start with M, the millions, it start with M. But let me say this to y'all. Y'all have the blessing now to learn about your ancestors, to learn about your gifts, and to learn and understand your awakening. Now, some of you come into the world woke, but forget not the old landmark. Or some of y'all are sitting up challenging Gen X and couldn't handle none of Gen X problems. Yeah, I'm a 70s baby. You couldn't handle mine because grounded back then meant picking your teeth up off the ground. They didn't take your PlayStation. They didn't take your phone. They didn't do all of that. You got your ass whooped. You got your teeth knocked down your throat. You thought your soul was going to leave your body. Okay, Doc? Just to be real. But I'm saying all of that to say this. Y'all also didn't have to work through the healings that we have to work through. Y'all didn't hear those terms, what goes on in my house, stay in my house. Y'all didn't hear those terms. Y'all didn't hear those terms where if somebody was doing something, you couldn't say nothing. Because back then, the neighborhood was raising a child. But you didn't have to sit with, and forgive me, because I'm going to say Uncle Fester. That's what I'm going to call the uncles. And exactly. Because literally, you when you had to sit there with Uncle Fester, and you knew Uncle Fester ass had done raped somebody, had done something, good evening, Virgo. Then literally raped you, and done cussed you out, done beat you till your soul came in. Till your soul left out. You thought you had an out-of-body experience. You couldn't say nothing. So Gen X had a lot to heal from. Hermana, good evening. But literally, we had a lot to heal from. And I'm going to say this. If we didn't heal, if a lot of us didn't heal, where would y'all be? Would you legit be able to break generational curses? Well, true, y'all didn't. But y'all had a voice. Y'all had a voice that we did not have. See, Gen X, no, we ain't had no voice. No, you didn't. No, you didn't talk when the grown folks was talking. No, you didn't tell on that one kid. You was considered the snitch. I'll tell I said hello. I'm honored. But literally, no, hold on, cuz. That came in. You said I was right by Gen X. Yeah. The 80s, y'all was right by Gen X. Y'all know. But this is the thing. Oh, I come to get my healing. That's the topic. I'm just putting my life on display so that people will understand why it's important to get a healing. Because at that time, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of issues. Hold on, Tay. Let me get done with your first one right quick, and I'm gonna read everybody else's as well. You said I was right about Gen X. Yeah, yeah. 19 in the 80s. Yeah, and yeah. But see, they came into it being online. They came into it being online. Some things you could find, not everything, because if you remember, the books had to be in the library. The books literally had to be in the library, and then you had to know what to check out, and you had to know what you were looking at, or take that book off the shelf and read it a little bit before you checked it out. hmm But a lot of things was accessible, and nowadays it's real accessible to do your research, to talk about it, to be able to speak on it. But a lot of us at the time couldn't speak on it. A lot of us at that time had to work out our anger issues. Because in the awakening, called hell. Oh, yeah, the 90s. Yeah, in the 90s, I was in, let's see, I graduated in 94. Yeah, I was in high school. No, we wouldn't, yeah, we weren't allowed to be boastful. And by the time you got to the 90s and got to be kind of boastful, you still understood what the teeth on the ground meant. You still understood that. Hmm. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. But honestly, I don't really go by statistics because to me, domestic violence is in many forms and in many different ways. But literally, having an awakening, getting a healing, we literally had to get that. But we literally had to deal with getting our healings and different things on our own. I know for myself, I literally had to get mine on my own, somewhat. I'm thankful for my grandmother that she didn't just let me fall to the wayside. That she literally just didn't just sit there. She taught to me. One of the things that I found amazing about her was her lectures. Even though them lectures took 5 hours, she gave them out. One time, I'm still tripping about the one that was 4 hours long on the word no. By the time that lecture was over with, y'all, I said no to food. She was like, I'm saying you can eat. I said no to food. I literally said no because I was not used to. I was not ready because the way she was saying say no, she said, you want something to eat? No, ma'am. She got the quickest no ever. But in those lectures, as I remember them today, as I remember them today, I am so grateful for those lectures, just like this future generation will be. Because you got so much trying to wipe them out. And let's start speaking life into them instead of death. You got so much that's trying to wipe them out. You got them trying to take history out of school. They want to give you this brainwashed, watered down history. You literally having to explain and literally having to go and find books that really explain what happened back then as to the reason of today. Like literally, you have access to things. Like wherever you live at, look up the history and you will understand what is operating in that place and what the people is up against. You'll literally understand it. Like Florida is one of the places that it was a slave port. Um, if you look at the way those hurricanes come, they come like they're coming from Africa. If you ever really just take a look at it, I'm honored. Thank you, thank you. But if you take a look at it, you will literally see where it's like coming from Africa. Mississippi was another place for slave trade. So was Louisiana. It was quite a few places. Carolina. There's quite a few places. But if you look up the history, good evening, good evening. You look up the history, you will literally see what's operating there, what is still being fought today. Yeah. You will literally see what's still being fought today. If you look up different things concerning the United States and you will really understand how it got started, you'll understand why people don't like to be reminded. Why certain people don't like to be reminded, because some people, because of their belief system, as I said, religiosity, their belief system, it not only condemns, instead of developing an open mind, they get a closed one. They'll say you're still hanging on to this history, that history, that history. But even in spirituality, like I said, you don't want to be like the children of Israel, still walking around 40 years later because you refuse to deal with you to get where you need to go, which is to your promise. And I'll explain. Because we get so wrapped up in history till we forget to create a new one. And what I mean by that, we literally get caught up in stagnant energy. That's how come a lot of us are repeating the same cycle. Because if you study the pattern, you want to break the pattern. You don't want to repeat the same thing. You ever been talking to somebody and you ain't seen them in years, and the same thing that they were talking about then, they talk to you about right then, right now. They literally talk to you about the same thing. They never broke the pattern. If they can be 5 years later, 20 years later, and they're still in the same situation, they never broke that pattern. If the marriage is every time they get married, the marriage is falling apart, they never broke that pattern. They never healed what it took to have a prosperous relationship. Because you can't say it's the other person, it's you. If you had 5 of them. Even in spirituality, if you are still having that same pattern, it's you. This year should have been a cycle breaker, as well as preparing for your blessings, as well as preparing for where you're going. Because for generations to come, what are we leaving them? Everybody talks about an inheritance, but what spiritual inheritance are you leaving them? Have you broke the spiritual generational curses have you taken time out to work on you and deal with your anger so your kids don't go through that, so the next relative don't go through that, so the next person that is blessed with the gifts that you have and is passed down, or the same magic, or the same wisdom, same anointing, same gifts, same talents. Because a lot of times we don't get what's attached to us. Some don't get it until they dead and go. Oh, wow. Because think about it. You're the living ancestor. A lot of us are living ancestors. Think about it. The younger ones are calling us old heads. I will do. I will do. Exactly, because I'm going to tell you something. When the spirit's cut off, everything that can hinder you, when the spirit's cut off everything that can get next to you, sometimes what is dead needs to stay dead. Don't resuscitate it. Let it die. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Even when we do self-reflection or going back over our day, I'm going to ask this question again. And this is a question you don't have to answer to me, but answer it to the spirit. When is the last time that you took a spiritual bath and released and let everything go? When is the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone and you trusted the spirits? When is the last time you got healed from something and you truly let it go? When is the last time you literally said, I'm not going to listen to what everybody else say, but I'm going to do what the spirits told me to do? And the reason why I say that, because we spend a lot of time listening, but not doing. We got to get out of this, let everybody else do the work for me mentality. I know that's right. I know that's right, sis. But literally, we have got to go for hours. And another thing, cut out all the excuses. Seriously, cut it off, cut it out. Cut out all the damn excuses. Seriously. Stop making excuses. Good evening, sis. It's okay. It's okay. You right on time for what the spirit have for you. Stop making excuses. Stop coming up with this, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna tell you something. The funniest shit. Tell the spirits your plans. Tell them what you want to do, and see if it line up with what they said. I know for a fact. I told them my plan. I didn't want to be bothered with nothing or nobody. I literally wanted to mind my business. But the spirits wanting something different. Tell you the truth, that's how y'all got these lives. Through them sending people, different people into my life to chip away at me. And what I mean by chip away at me, chip away at the heart that I had. Because if it was left up to me, hell no. To the hell no. Get somebody else to do it. Good evening, good evening. But literally, we gotta get out of the habit of being okay with just this when the spirits wants us to have more. When the spirits wants us to get more. Please don't be like the children of Israel. You walking around that damn mountain 40 years and 40 nights, 40 days, when your ass could have been over in your promise. In your promise. Getting everything that God said. Getting everything that the Spirit said. We got to get out of that habit of, oh, I'll work on it later. And let me say this, because you can't choose what you heal from when the spirits bring it up. I found myself all week long, the spirits kept bringing up incidents, kept bringing up different things. I said, okay, yeah, it wasn't right, but I released it. I let that go. I found myself doing that all week long. I released it. I let that go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Procrastination and allowing negativity to take root. Truth. Because a lot of stuff, like I said, we don't get rid of residual standing energy. As we wonder, why is this repeating? Why is I'm still going through the same thing? I know that I grew because they didn't get cussed out. I didn't do nothing crazy. I didn't go off on nobody. You know what I mean? I didn't snap them up when I should. I didn't cuss them out. I let that shit go. Good evening, Mom. I literally let it go. But the thing of it is, forgetting to get rid of stagnant energy. You gotta get rid of the stagnant energy. You got to. Good evening. You got to. Because stagnant energy can be something that fester and still be around. And I repeat again, stagnant energy is literally something that you let fester. Sometimes it take a deep cleanse. Sometimes it's objects that you have. It's clothing that you have. You have to throw it out, let it go, because of the stagnant energy that's attached to it. What do we have attached to us that we did not let go? Because, oh, that whole memory, well, this whole memories with that, well, that's this and that's that. But you not knowing what you refuse to let go will be the very thing that keep a cycle in your life. I remember reading this, I believe I read this, where, and I've had it happen to me, where a young lady moved into this apartment, and this apartment that she moved into, the outside neighbors can hear arguing, can hear loud noises like stuff breaking and everything. But literally, the young lady, she had peace. She didn't hear nothing. Until one day her neighbor told her, hey, close your door and stand outside. Then she began to hear arguing. Then she began to hear bickering and beef. Now, on a personal note, when I first got to this apartment that I was blessed with, Bilolo Mama done taught. Thank you, Mr. Most High God, Mr. Yahweh. It was staggering energy. Literally staggering energy. Because When I came in, I could hear the arguments, I could hear the negativity, I could hear stuff being thrown around. But what was funny, my stuff was not put up, everything was on the floor. So that's when I knew I had to get rid of the residual energy. Just like the lady that I'm telling you about in the story, she literally said she could hear it on the other side of the door, but when you open the door, it's quiet. You couldn't hear nothing. It was quiet, literally. But when she closed the door, she could hear, "You make me sick. You out your damn mind. You ain't never gonna be nothing." She could hear all of that. But literally, she had to go to someone, and she went to a practitioner, and the practitioner told her, "Say, listen, you take this lavender, you take this sage," and he named off like several herbs, and he told her to burn them in a pot. Come to find out, it was the apartment was saturated with it. And she literally had to go through there, cleanse the walls, cleanse the floorboards. She had to mop the floor. She had to clean out the cabinets, clean out the refrigerator. Even though everything looked spotless, she literally had to go do it. And a lot of times people don't know residue is stagnant energy. So literally, she had to go through the cupboard. She had to go through everything. There, and what was so funny, when she finally walked around that house, she was she was finding clothing and different things. And you know what was crazy? She actually met the couple, and she literally ran into them by accident. And she started telling them that she was in their old apartment. She even knew their name. She walked up to them, gave them their last name, everything, because they left so much stagnant energy. And then the couples before then, because she was literally hearing from this stagnant energy. Good evening, good evening. What's up? What's up, Sid? Spirit just sitting in the house. Literally, she literally was dealing with stagnant energy. And she told them how they got into the argument, how things began to happen and transpire. And when she started telling them, they was like, yeah, because it would start off with something simple. Just like when I got here. When I finally did, because what was funny, the young lady called the police on me the first night I got in here, because I literally started cleaning things out. The young lady called the police on me. Hey, hey, what going? Literally. And when I seen the lady, and she was like, "You're in my apartment." I said, "You're bipolar, aren't you? You have multiple personalities." She said, "How you know that?" You left your energy on everything. Do you know how you became that way? When she calmed down, we finally talked. Just for her to find out the root to that was not cleansing. I literally had to clean out everything, literally, to get a fresh start. Especially when you have old relationships, different stuff like that, and you have people that's come in and out. Sometimes it's good for you to learn the history of where you are. Because sometimes the reason why patterns are repeating is because of stagnant energy. Especially when you knew you grew from that. Especially when you knew you healed, you did everything in your power, you did the work. You was obedient. You let this shit go. And you're wondering, Why am I still dealing with this? Why is this a repeated pattern? Because the failure of a deep cleanse. And let me say that if you're in a graveyard, I don't know how many know this, but sometimes you need to put a knife in the dirt. You need to pray, and you need to put a knife in the dirt and lock those spirits down. And sometimes you be living on the graveyard, you don't even know that that's the energy you're dealing with. But sometimes unhealed issues don't just have a root with you. Sometimes it have a root with the energy that is around you, that's been planted in that place. Good evening, sis. What's up, family? Hello. But sometimes you have to clean out stagnant energies. You have to let go of objects. I'm going to put it this way. If you know that relationship was toxic, y'all didn't mean each other no good, and you're keeping hold of this object, and you're wondering why you keep getting a repeat of the same energy, and it seems like everybody come and they act the same damn way. Yes, I feel a lot of peace and love when I go. I actually be rejuvenated. But when you move into a place, and then I'm gonna tell you something about that too. When you're dealing with moving into a place, and you find out that that's a graveyard that your house was built upon, sometimes it's good if you stop and ask the spirits for permission to live there, to practice your magic, practice your belief, your faith. But you have to get out of religiosity. You have to get out of this mentality. I don't have to ask. I don't have to do this, and I don't have to do that. And no, I shouldn't have to do that to live there. I paid for it. It's mine. You got to get out of that mentality. Because what happens when the spirits of that land tell you, you don't care? You paid for what? We was here first. So you got to be able to have an open mind. You got to be able to have some things broken. You got to be able to deal with that. Especially when you come to a new place. I find out what's operating. Whether it need to be banished or not. Whether it need to be gone or not. Whether it's supposed to be there or not. Whether I need to go. We got to get out of our comfort zone of what we deem as beliefs. One of the things that you cannot always control is someone else's choices, someone else's decisions. Another thing you cannot control without God, without whatever you walk with, whatever God or goddess in your life. Because the truth of the matter is, if you really could control a spirit, man, you would be awesome. But you can't do that without the God or goddess in your life. The author and the finisher of your fate. The author, the one that put breath in your body. You cannot control it without them. This is why it's important to have an open mind. So when the spirit go to speak to you and it's something new, and they're telling you to get rid of it, stop making excuses like I don't believe in that. Oh, it's not that way. Don't be Apostle Peter. And then you have to find out the hard way. You can't tell God. You can't tell your spirits. You can't tell your ancestors. You can't tell that God or goddess what to do and what not to do when they're the ones giving you the instructions. Because let me say this. You also have to remember, you only know that moment. They know that moment and in the following years to come. So you have to think about that. Have an open mind. Because a lot of us are repeating the same patterns because of stagnant energies. You ever notice you had the same argument with a person, and then the same argument show up with a different person, not the same person? Here's another one. Here's another one to throw out here. Birds of a feather, it's true, they do flock together. When I was in church, one of the things that I would notice, whenever that preacher didn't like me, they were preaching such a way to where it's like they throwing spirits at you, or they're trying to present you this way or that way. And I'll explain. Some people can present you blessed, some people can present you cursed. And they would preach. I mean, they would get it in. You understand? Get it in. Thank God I healed from that. But literally, they would get it in. And the person who had never been to that church, never seen none of the people in that church, will speak under that operating spirit that was presented, that was put out, and would tell this person they was jealous, tell this person they was blessed. And a lot of the times, I'm not going to say every time, but a lot of the times, you will find it's because they were under that same energy. I'll explain. That can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. I'm going to give you two examples. First example, I'm going to give you the bad before the good. Give you the bad news before the good news, all right? So, I remember this pastor. He's preaching. I'm talking about, had everybody in there shouting. They were speaking in tongues. They were all over the floor. Everything. People running back and forth. They was shouting, no. They was getting it, okay? But what ended up happening, when he came down to prophesy, because the pastor before him, he spent time with that pastor. He was around that pastor. They went out to eat. He didn't realize what he lent his members to. That's why it's important to be careful what you give yourself to. That's why it's important to have a relationship for yourself with the spirits. Literally. God didn't know me. He had no idea. Neither one of them had no idea what I was going through at home. They had no idea what it was like to be somebody that's trying to stay out of the streets. Had no clue. Me and another young lady had no clue. They told me and that young lady that we were jealous. Me and that young lady looked at each other like, you got to be out your damn mind. I don't even be here enough to be jealous. I'm trying to keep from killing somebody. Birds of a feather, they flock together. It wasn't till that man of God, when he had to come back that Friday night, he told a story. He said someone had approached him and said, do you know that them people dislike them too? Now I'm going to pause and I'm going to make y'all laugh. I'm going to tell you what they got mad at me and the young lady about. But unfortunately, she's not here, so I can't tell her story, but I can tell mine. So no one had a clue that at the beginning of that week, since I was coming into my birthday, September the 18th, matter of fact, I was coming into my birthday. And I had said to Yahweh, because that was his first introduction to me, I had said to him, I said, listen, I don't know you. From what I can see, you got some messy people. So I need you to let me get to know you for you. Because if I keep listening to this pastor, I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to blow his brains out, unalive him. That's literally what I said. Of course, unalive is not the word that I used. And I remember, I think I went to sleep after I said that. I went to sleep. We was on Lakewood. I went to sleep in Arkansas. I went to sleep in a den. We had a black couch. I went to sleep in a den. And I was exhausted. I was worn out. Nobody knew I worked the job. I had been being called lazy by preachers who didn't know I was going to school, that I was working at the steel mill, the nursing home, and at that time, Bonanza. Had no clue. I was getting ready to get my own place. Had no clue. And he gave me a dream. Now, y'all, I don't know too many people that's had this dream, but I know 6 others that did. And he took me through 7 walls of fire. I remember him giving scrolls that told people's life, how long they would live, when they would die, what they were going through, everything. The second scroll was literally the Word of God. The third scroll it was like intensity of gifts. Now, I didn't neglect the fact that at the age of 5, the different spiritual things that happened, giving directions at the age of 5, I didn't forget about none of that. But at this point, and this is why you don't get caught up in people's opinions of you, but you get caught up in the spirit. When the spirit speak of you, the spirit will hold up a sign, and everybody will begin to speak what the spirit is speaking, even when they hate you. I'll get to that. But literally, when I woke up, I was like, wow. I remember Prophet Charles Simmons. At that time, he wasn't my spiritual father. He called me. He said, I called to see if you had this dream because Spirit told me there was a dream. I said, was you sitting in the water too? And then you walked through 6 walls, 7 walls of fire, and then you had some strolls, and then there was a crown? He said, yeah. And we both said, We both said, good night, going back to sleep. Went back to sleep. I got asked, wake up. What do you want? Now, y'all, this one will make y'all laugh at. When I say he do it big, okay? What I asked for was to know his thoughts towards me. I didn't say shit about nobody else, okay? I didn't want to help people. I didn't ask him nothing like that. Just let me tell you what this particular God said, okay? Mr. Yahweh. Well, since you want to get to know me, what else you want to know? I said, I want wisdom. He said, like King Solomon? I said, sure, like King Solomon. Y'all. I asked for that. Guess what he said? Guess what he said? He said, I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to make your name great. And they're going to honor you. I'm going to give you what you asked for, but I'm going to give you riches too. Listen, for other people would be excited to hear that. They'd be like, yeah, hallelujah. Not me. Not me. I said, sir, excuse me, sir, 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 sir. So, excuse me, sir. Hello, hi, sir. No, no, no. What I asked you for. Good evening, good evening. What's happening? TikTok in the house. Sister Chat. Y'all ever get a chance to check them out on TikTok? Theirs is called Sister Chat. My fam tweets is also there. Check them out. But going back to what I was saying, I literally said, no, 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 sir. I did not ask you to make my name great. I didn't say nothing about helping nobody. I didn't say nothing about doing nothing. All I said was, I want to know what you think about me. Now, mind you, at the age of 7, I had a near-death experience. This is why I know when he said, let us, he wasn't just talking about no angels and no Holy Ghost, okay? There was Loa, there was Orishas, there was other gods. See, I was aware at that time. So anyway, moving on. Literally, I sat there. It was like, bruh, what I said to you. I noticed the time Charles called me back right in the middle. Prophet Charles Simmons, he called me back in the middle. He said, I know that you're fussy, but go ahead and get dressed. Remember, you forgot about the revival. I said, okay. I'm studying Mom Living. I'm not going to lie to you. I was getting dressed, but I was like, you're always trying to do something big. All I said to you was, what did you think about me? And here you go. I'm putting on my shirt. And you studied it. Man, I ain't asked you for all that. I said it just like that. I didn't ask you for all that. All I asked you was what you think. I just wanted your love. Giving me stuff. People do that all my life. They always give me something. Here. Dude, I ain't asked you for that. Prophet Charles Simmons, he picks me up. We go over to what used to be Cherokee Court. It's a field right there. It's right by the school. We go there. Okay. Get out of the car. In the revival. Mind you, the other young lady showed up. She asked me, did you have this dream? Yep. Charles said, I'm going to ask you after service. I'm going to get my confirmation tonight, and it's going to be through you. I said, no, sir. I'm not grabbing anybody's microphone to do nothing, sir. Sir, I'm not doing nothing. Nothing. Finito, not a thing. At that point, I was like, because I didn't say, listen, Linda, then. I was like, he had no idea. He was being cussed out of my mind. I was like, this motherfucker, I ain't doing nothing. What I'm going to do is sit over here in this corner, get through this, and then I'm going to go home and finish fussing at God because he can't hear her. He can't hear her. I just wanted to know what was on his mind. Ain't say nothing. Get there, sit down. The woman preach. Guess who she called out? The 6 of us, the 7. She goes down the line. She gets to me. Y'all, she kneeled. She kissed my right hand. I looked at this woman. I said, see, these folks really don't like me. And she did it to the other young lady too. We was both like, bro, they don't like us. Why? Why would you do this? I know I'm finna get rebuked Sunday. Oh, they about to go off on me. They had no idea. She had no idea how I felt. She got up off her knees. She said, God said you ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. He said his thoughts towards you is he fearfully and wonderfully made you, but he's going to give you his mind. He's going to give you the wisdom. He's going to give you the riches because he wants to give it to you. He's going to make your name great. You're going to travel to different lands. I said in my mind, I said, there you go again. I'm going to call you Big Papa because you don't know the meaning of listening. You always doing things big. You don't never do nothing small. All I said was, What did you think about me? Thank you for answering the question, but you waited till I got here. Sir, you just don't do right. Whole time telling you, I didn't get his point. I didn't get it until years later. But that next Sunday, I got to church. You know what them people did? They made me feel this small. This small. Real small. To the point to where I couldn't even think. And I was like, He said, notice the energy that they were in. They were calling me jealous. But I never paid attention to they were actually the ones who was operating under the spirit of jealousy. Now, that's one side of it, where you find out birds of a feather flock together. Because the lady said, before she even gave us our words individually, she told us, she said, listen, I'm not operating under that spirit. I'm not religious. I'm into spirituality. She whispered to me, I know what it's like to be the candle. I know what it's like to be the altar. I smiled, but I was still looking at God like, dude, you tripping. Yahweh, you tripping. You tripping. So that's one way. You have to be careful because people will operate under the same spirit, don't even know they're operating under it. Second one, because of residual energy. No one cleaned that church. The pastor bought the church. No one cleansed it at all. No one cleansed it. Residual energy. So what happens? The residual energy of jealousy took place. Now, the second side of that, where it was a blessing, when people are operating under the Spirit of God. Remember this young lady. Everywhere she went, everybody called her blessed. God told me, don't say nothing, just pay attention. Everybody called her blessed. Even people that didn't know her, when she walked down the street, they called her blessed. And he said, this is what happens when you yield under the right spirit and you lend your members. Because the residual energy that is left in a home, left in a place, left on a land, is good energy, they're going to dwell under that. Now again, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a Christian. But the reason why I use the Bible as a reference, number one, the Bible holds light and darkness, life and death. Great book of shadows. Probably one of the greatest ones I've ever seen. Because the same way that men got entrapped was the same way that men got free. Best thing I ever seen. It's Book of Shadows. You see skull work in it. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. Best skull work I ever seen. Especially when it came to removing a way that someone thinks. Getting them out of an old frame of mind into a new frame of mind. Ezekiel, best astro I ever seen, because Ezekiel never left home. Great book of shadows. But I said all this to say this. Residual energy will tear down, and residual energy can build up. That's why when you move into your home, make sure to keep it cleansed. Make sure that if you're dealing, say for instance, you dealt with toxic energy, you dealt Have you ever heard the term when you get sick, to wash your bed sheets and stuff because you've been sick? The reason why they tell you that because the energy of that sickness gets in the cover, gets in the pillows, and all of that. So you have to wash it. You have to literally let that energy go. And if you got them that really told you, they did stuff with certain herbs like sage, like rosemary, cinnamon, and I'm telling you, the energy of that would leave. But when you go to cleanse, make sure you open your doors and your windows too. Don't be like some, and I say this for the beginners, it's nothing wrong, but when you are cleansing, you don't want the spirit running around in a circle or standing somewhere waiting till you get done just to come back. And also fill your house with positive energy. Invite the Holy Spirit in. Invite the spirits that walk with you, that love you. To invite the God or goddess to come in and fill the house. Don't just cleanse it and you have an empty home. Fill it. Call your blessings in. Fill it. Because anything will come back 10 times worse and bring 7 things that are worse than it. So this is why it's important. When you cut and clear a pattern, you know how you cut and clear? No, I don't know how many know what cord cutting is, but take a string if you need a visual, or do what I did. Go to Walmart. Hold on. Go to Walmart. Sorry, y'all. It's been used like a motherfucker. And get you some cord like this. And what you do, you cut it. You cut your piece. Take a rope. Take a piece of it, tie it in knots. Name your knots of what you want gone. But also, cut yourself back into your blessing. Take another rope. Name your blessings off. But when you go to do this rope, you either burn it, cut it, do something that will destroy it and make it go away. And if that knot doesn't go away, that means you need to cleanse and detach from whatever that is. Or you need to heal. But cut the cord. And you had a toxic relationship, man, throw that shit out. Toxic friendship, throw that shit out. Why are you keeping that residual energy in there? And then when everybody encounter you, you get the same effect. Throw that stuff out. Seriously. Because part of getting your healing is truly letting go of everything. Sometimes what you hold on to will be the very thing that'll hinder and that'll block you from your blessing. Literally. Because especially if you done did all the work and you wonder why your stuff is stopped, and if you are in a place, particular city, location, a state, whatever the case may be, and the spirits say you got to get up and move, move. Stop arguing with them. Move. Stop making excuses. Move. You don't have the money? Tell them. You need the blessing. Tell God you need the blessing. You can't go with no money though. Seriously. Ask them to make a way. They'll make a way. But also another thing, don't just ask them to give you the blessing. Ask them to put it in the hands of someone that will obey with no strings attached. Please do that. because your blessing can fall in the hands of your enemy. You'd be pissed. So please ask that your blessing will fall in the hands of someone that will obey, that don't have any strings attached, that isn't going to want something from you in return, but going to do what the Spirit say do, and then they'll get blessed. Because I'm going to tell you something. Some of these patterns we're repeating is because of stagnant energy. Things that we have attached ourselves to. And if the energy is on you, do a cleansing, do a cord cutting on you. And also, after you do a cord cutting, there's still work. You still got to do the work. Because when that energy try to come around, tell that energy the truth. We're not doing that here. I've already cut it. Bye. No ma'am, no sir. Bye. We done. You still got to do the work. You still got to watch your attitude. You still got to watch your temper. You still got to watch how you handle situations. You lead by example. You still got to watch. I didn't even know this live was going to be this long. I thought this was going to be one of the shortest. But literally, got to get rid of residual energy. Holding on to old things that the Spirit have told you to let go, let it go. And stop making excuses. Because ain't you been through enough? Ain't you tired now? I know I am. That's why I do what they tell me to do. Because pardon my friends, I don't like ass whoopers. I'm sorry. And me and Apostle Peter got a lot in common. I don't like ass whoopers. So I prefer to do what they say. I prefer to work on what they told me to work on, move in silence when they tell me to move in silence. I prefer to do what they say. The Spirit's gonna make me uncomfortable in an area that I'm not familiar with, then I'm gonna be an uncomfortable motherfucker doing what they say. Real talk. But you got to. We'll be surprised at what we keep that kept that pattern going on. But again, I thank y'all for listening to me and allowing the spirits to speak through me. I'm grateful. I'm honored. Thank you for the donations as well. I'm very much grateful. If anybody have anything to say, you're welcome to say. I'll sit here and wait. But I'm truly grateful. I'm thankful because y'all could have been doing anything else with your time. You could have been doing anything else. So I'm grateful. Is there anybody that have anything they want to say, add, let me know. And as y'all can see, they blinking lights. I love you too. And no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here and allowing the spirits to speak through me. I'm honored through the spirits, the ancestors, and the Most High God. I'm honored. Is there anyone else? Because as y'all can see, they saying amen. Oh, I know that's right. And you know what? I'm doing a deep cleanse. There's stuff that I got to throw away and keeping keys and stuff from old apartments and stuff like that that I'm literally throwing away. What's up? Mr. Holloway, I messaged you. That's checking on you because it was a hurricane in your area. I was trying to make sure you was okay. And now that I see you here, I'm grateful that you are okay and that you went in, you were protected and in the midst of hurt, harm, and what could have been danger. So I'm grateful, very much grateful to see you. I may not talk often, but I will check on you. Just check your inbox. You'll see why I left the message. What it do, fam? What it do? But literally, and I apologize. You got to catch the replay because I'm at the end of mine. But if anybody have anything else to say, because that's true, man. I was in the midst of. It's like a deep cleanse. I got to throw away old keys, old apartments, stuff, literally. Because when you're gonna start new, you can't keep hold of the old. Not unless the spirits tell you need that paperwork. Don't keep that stuff. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Especially when you get that change of weather out the way. Yeah, Lord. I believe it. But that was the one reason why I was checking on everybody because of the fact that I did see it in the water. And I'll say this: when you throw away old stuff, you be surprised what blessings and manifestations was waiting to come through. That was waiting to come through for you. Because a lot of times we have no idea. I truly appreciate you. I miss our talks on comments and stuff. And oh, let me say this before I go. Sex magic. Let's talk. Be careful who you swapping energy with, because that energy can keep you bound to some stuff. Especially when the person is carrying bad energy, bad attitude, they have nothing to say positive, and you sleep with that person, that spirit can get on you and become residual as well. Truth. Always get rid of old stuff, because you don't want that energy. You don't want that energy hindering you, because your blessings can literally get stopped because you kept something from something that was toxic, something with bad memories, something that took you through it. Because there are things that when you move to another state, another location, if that other place was toxic and you went through hell, why are you keeping and holding on to stuff that you know damn well the memory of that kept you in hell? You have to let it go. You have to. Exactly. Spiritually cut ties. Yeah, you have to. You have to spiritually cut those ties. You have to let that stuff go. Oh yeah, you can rebuke, but there's still some work. There's still some necessary work because you have to let it go. You have to get rid of it. Sometimes you have to bat that shit out, throw that shit in the trash. You do, literally. But again, if no one else, and then you came in, Holloway, and gave confirmation because I was just talking about cord cutting. You literally gave confirmation. But if no one else have anything else to say, again, I am grateful. I'm honored. I'm humbled by the ancestors, the spirits, and the Most High. True, it's levels to it because you gotta cleanse, you gotta let it go, you gotta take stuff out. You also gotta cut cords on you. You sometimes you have to cut cords on the property as well. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yeah. And let me tell you something. You're not supposed to hold on to every ancestor. If you ain't had no great relationship with that ancestor, why you calling that one? And let me explain. Not one where y'all loved each other and you had one spat. That ain't what I'm talking about. When you literally had an ancestor that, uh, this may be extreme, but that raped, that tried to unalive you, you don't call them. What you calling them for? Because it's still, if they still, and they're not apologetic, and they still got that same mentality, don't you know that energy will take effect and repeat again because you called that one? Yeah, and I listen. I ain't calling Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester gonna stay over there dead. Okay, don't knock. Okay, Uncle Fester can't. Uncle Fester can't get on the altar. Uncle Fester can't get a plate. Uncle Fester can't get no food. Uncle Fester got to go on somewhere. Because we had a bad relationship, you still got that same mentality. Stay your ass over there, way over there. Exactly. Better know what you're doing. Better know what you're doing. Better know what you're doing. Better make sure what you're calling as well. And as I've heard other people say, this is a shameless plug, but I do have uh, candles that I'm literally getting ready to put on the app that will detect the spirit that's in the house when you're doing your spiritual work, to see if you got the right spirit that you're calling for, the right ancestor, when you're calling for your higher self. And it will show you what's attached to you, what's not attached to you, what's attached to that next person, what's attached to that city or state. And there's also protection on there so the spirit can't just jump out and whoop you, but that you can literally see it and get instructions. Uh, Respect, fam. What's up? Seen another one come in. What's up? But literally. And I'll be honest, you got to watch the replay. I haven't got a price for them yet. I will be consulting the spirits about that, what the price should be. I was told one thing already. But literally, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for being there, fam. You're going to have to watch the replay. You have to watch the replay. But literally, I thank y'all for listening to me. I thank y'all for allowing the spirits to use me. And again, I thank you. You're going to have to catch the replay for everything. But I do thank you. And I'm honored. And I thank everybody for coming in tonight. If nothing else, if no one else has anything to say, I'm going to conclude this live. But before I do conclude this live, I'm going to see if anybody have anything to say. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, fam. But the topic was I came to get mine. I came to get my healing. So mote it be. Indeed. 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 But do anybody have any other words or anything to say? I'm gonna wait a few. I'm not gonna just cut the live off. And if not, I'll close it. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. And then I'll close it after that. As I try to light my cigar again. Always fam, always love. Always love, and I appreciate you dropping through. Respect, respect. You know what? Actually, you can heal others because when you do the work on yourself, you'll realize the gift of healing within you. You can heal others. That's why he said you'll do the work he did in greater. You can heal others, depending on your gift. All right, fam. I love you. Always for life, fam. Respect. Always for life. Oh yeah, they got to be willing to do the work, no doubt, no doubt. Because even when you get a miraculous healing, you got to maintain it. You got to take care of your body. Mad love, always, always, and you already know as well. You already know. But yeah, I'm honored. I'm honored. I appreciate y'all. I love you, and I'm gonna like this, and I'm gonna thank you again. And I'm going to go ahead and close, but I thank y'all. I appreciate you. Ain't nothing but love. Always respect.